I guess not anymore, right? How's everybody doing today? Good? Alright. My name is Kensuke. I'm going to be doing a demonstration on drawing manga. So for those, anybody here yesterday? Okay, so yesterday's demonstration was basically drawing the male, two different types of male manga faces. And I promised you to go ahead and draw the female manga face. And we'll get started. And if time permits, we'll go ahead and draw some of the chibi characters. And I'll explain what. Alright, so first of all, how many of you guys don't know what manga or anime is? Any parents? Okay. So, for those of you who are new to the Japanese culture, Japanese pop culture, manga comes from, literally translated, is derived from the word whimsical pictures. And it basically comes from the Katsushika Hokusai, who was a woodblock artist, and he basically went and toured Japan and made all these drawings of what he saw, lifestyles and everything like that, and compiled them into a unique kind of encyclopedia of all these drawings, and he coined the word manga. It's not like what you would see today where everything's in sequential imagery. Now there's manga and there's also anime. The difference between manga and anime is manga is a printed form, and we see sequential imagery. Anime is when you actually see things move around in television screens. Okay, so for those of you who brought your sketch pads and notepads, you're more than welcome to follow along. I'm going to start off by drawing an oval. You don't want to make a circle, complete circle. I say oval because if you draw a complete circle, your head's going to appear a little bit too flat, too wide. From here, I'm going to create a cross hairline going vertically and horizontally. The vertical line I'm going to extend slightly down. Okay. The reason for doing all this is so I can visually spatialize where to put my eyes, nose, and mouth. Okay. From both sides, I'm going to drop down an arc. Which comes down and meets right at the vertical center line mark. Can you guys see from back there? Okay, because I'll later go ahead and tighten up the drawing once I'm done. Okay, so this is for the chin. I'm going ahead and draw a light mark here. And in order to determine the eyes, I'm going to take this distance and divide it in half. Okay? This is going to be the top of the eyes. And figure out the bottom of the eyes. I'm going to divide this distance again in half. Okay? So my eyes are going to fall right there. Now, at first glance, you're going to say, whoa, wait, that's way too low. The eyes should be up here. But that's one of the popular misconceptions. You want to, because the hairline actually starts right around here. So if you visualize that, it kind of makes sense to have the eyes a little bit lower. And the difference between manga, Japanese manga eyes and American DC and Marvel Comics eyes, you'll find out that the eyes tend to be a lot bigger and exaggerated. Okay, and now we did say I was going to draw a female manga eyes, so I'm going to make it a little bit more thicker on the edges. And depending on your taste, you can go ahead and add eyelashes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, construct the pupil, draw 2 ovals. There are, for those of you who are familiar with manga and drawing anime on your own, you probably notice that there are so many different ways of drawing eyes. This is just one of many of them. So bear in mind. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the highlights, which are basically 2 ovals overlapping each other. And add the lower lid, which is shorter than the top lid. What I like to do is leave some space between the lower of the pupil and the lower lid. Okay? To give a little bit more volume depth to the eye, I'm going to add this secondary line going on top to show the fold of the upper lid. And then I'm going to finally add the eyebrows. Now, Japanese manga eyebrows, as opposed to for those of you who draw realistically, you're going to find they're a little bit more thinner and pointed. In other words, I'm not going to be drawing each hair of the eyebrow. So this is what I have so far. And I want to make sure that the eyebrows extend further than the actual width of the eye itself. For the nose, another difference between American comics and Japanese comics, the nose and the mouth are a lot smaller and petite. Some manga characters, they just totally leave out the nose altogether. So I'm going to make sure, I'm going to just indicate the nose with maybe the edge, and that's all I'm going to draw for the nose. As a matter of fact, some people don't even draw that line. They'll just leave it as a simple little line. Determining the mouth, I'm going to take the bottom of the chin, divide this in half, and I'm going to place the mouth a little bit higher than this middle line. Okay. Keep the mouth to the minimum. I might add, like maybe since it's a girl, I'm going to add the lower lid. Okay. The ears I indicate we're drawing 2 C shapes, which represent teacup handles. Ears are very hard to draw. They can seem complicated. So what I do is I draw what resembles a spoon shape, as if there's like a sticking in her ear. And I don't know how to describe the shape, but other than say it looks like a slug. Use these 2 marks that I drew for a middle line to draw the neck. Now since it's a girl, I want to make sure that the neck is a little bit thinner than the boys. Okay, with the boys, if you're drawing realistically, the stronger the person is, the more wider the neck goes. Okay, so this is not going to, in this case, we're just going to keep it simple. So that's really all the basic structure for the female face. I'm going to go ahead and start with the hair, which is my favorite part, because you just do so many variations of hairs. A couple of rules that I like to keep in the back of my mind when I'm drawing this is just keep the shapes very simple, especially drawing the simplified style. Okay, I usually start from drawing the bangs. Alright, and the top of the hair begins not from here, but a little bit higher than the head. So just to give myself a visualization, I'm going to kind of mark this little buffer zone here around here. Now people ask me, do I actually draw like this and construct all the faces when I draw my graphic novels? The answer is no, it'll take too long. You know, I usually start from the eyes end without, after doing it so many times, you start not needing all these demonstrations, these guidelines. But for the purposes of showing the structure, it definitely helps. Start from the top. Drop it down. And I'm going to add I'm changing my mind. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Okay. Let's take a moment right now to sharpen these cheek lines. Maybe I might want to bring them in a little bit, round out the chin a little bit more. Okay, and just to top things off, I might add the line here that is for the neck muscle. It's a sternocleidomastoid. The muscles go here, connect to the center of your clavicle. For those of you or doctors, right? No doctors. Okay. All right. So as you see, the eyes, they kind of fall in place here with the rest of the shape of the hair. So once I have this, I'm going to make some little tweaks to the drawings. I can have fun. I can go ahead and let's see. Shade in the eyes. Now people always ask, do I have to put in the highlights? Do I have to make these eyes oval? No, you don't have to. But generally the highlights really accentuate the eyes, and for manga, the eyes are literally the window to the character's personality. So highlights. I might add a couple highlights here. Add the earrings. And in manga, since they publish in color, because if they literally publish so many pages of manga every week that it'd be really cost prohibitive. So I'm going to draw these little sketch marks here to show the color of the person's flesh. Well, if she's blushing, or if she's surprised or scared, you can use these different colors to accentuate the person's personality. Yeah, if you want, some people draw these lines here. Like Hayao Miyazaki, he uses a lot of the characters, draws little lines like that. Okay. So this is the children's version of manga. This, and let's say, well, there's so many different other types of manga. I'm going to take this and make it into an adult version of manga. I mean, not an adult version that way, but even like for, let's see, I want to make it a little bit more realistic. Okay? And well, I'm going to, this one I'm going to keep some of the, I guess it's just markers. I'll keep some of the principles here and apply it to a more realistic manga. How do I get around doing that? Start off by drawing an oval. Okay. Start exactly the same way I'm drawing. I started for the first head. Extend it down. And drop in an arc, except this time I'm going to drop the arc slightly lower. Than this arc there. It's a little bit longer. Okay. So it can already begin to take shape that the face is going to be a little bit more elongated. Okay, so in order to determine the eye shape, I'm going to take the distance between the bottom of this oval, midpoint. Okay. To determine the eyes, here I took the eyes and put it up beneath the midpoint. This time, I'm going to divide this distance and put it above. Okay? Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's too long. That's why God created erasers. Okay? And when drawing a more realistic manga, I want to make the eyes a little bit more narrower. I'm going to keep the thicker eyelashes. And I'm going to add the thicker eyelashes since we're drawing a girl. Okay. What I don't want to do is draw a shape that looks like this, as I explained yesterday. Okay, that's going to look like a cuneiform, Egyptian hieroglyphics. So we want to draw this, and I'm going to just hint right here that there is an eye, the edge of the eye. We're going to draw the pupil. Now the difference between these two eyes is, notice I don't complete the shape. I kind of leave a little bit hint that it's there. Oh, I can go ahead and shade it. Alright? So you can already tell the difference between two different styles. Eyebrows. The nose, I still want to keep it here. Drawing a realistic nose, what helps is I'm going to draw a little bit of the bridge of the nose here. Suggest the edge of the bridge. And draw, two dots for the nostrils. You want to keep the nose and the nostril fairly small. You don't want to draw like the whole entire nose shape, because otherwise it's going to look a little bit too like an American comics. To determine the mouth, I'm going to take this distance, divide that in half, and add the mouth slightly higher. Since it's a woman, I'm going to go ahead and add the lower lid. Okay. Ears. They're going to be a little. I'm going to add a little bit of straight edges to them. I'll show you. They're a little bit more angular to show that they have a little more structure. And the inside of the ears, also I'm going to add a little bit more structure to them as well. It's almost, the best way to describe this shape, it's almost like a music note. It's almost like this kind of shape. Okay. Alright. I'm going to tighten up my cheeks a little bit. Okay. The line, neck, still the same. Okay. Hair. Now approach it exactly the same way, starting from the center, except I want to take more time and make sure that each shape is a little bit more specific. What I mean by specific is people rush. I find that one of the common mistakes is people rush through hair a little bit too much, thinking that it really doesn't make a difference. I don't want to go. It's not like I'm going to draw each strand of hair, but just pay attention to the direction of each hair line. Okay. Start from the top of the head, a little bit higher. I'm going to establish my buffer zone like that. Starting from the top. Since she's a little bit more realistic, it gives me an opportunity to, can't forget her sideburns. They're not sideburns, are they? What do you call those things that hang, these things here that, yeah, they are sideburns, I guess. I'll erase a little portion of the ear there. Okay. So you can kind of start to see a difference between these two styles. Same principle. You approach it from the oval, same principle measurements, with the exception of the eyes are placed a little bit higher and a little bit more narrow, and this shape is slightly more elongated than this shape right here. Since this is more realistic drawing, I can go ahead and take this and embellish it a little bit by adding different types of volume of hair. You might have some hair going this way, some hair going that way. Okay. There's no set formula for this, the one I'm doing right here, except just doing it over and over again and practicing. I want to make sure that these lines follow the shape of the form of the head. So as they go closer to the edges, what I like to do is I kind of like to make it a little bit more narrower. And for the top, I might add the tip of the widow's peak. This whole process gives people, the viewers, something a little bit more to look at than just the simple shape of the head. Okay. And since in Japan, they normally don't use color, but what they do use is grays. They have what's called zip tones, if you guys are familiar with that. They use different grayscales to show depth of color, depth of the forms. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up a little bit. If it's a woman, I know, like thicken up the eyes a little bit. Now when I'm working, obviously I don't use markers like this. It's just like be too much. But. Dead. That's okay, I think. Alright, this works. And draw these edges around the face. Might draw underneath the neck to show that there's a shadow there. Okay. So, same character, well, not same character, more or less. Same female manga character, except a different genre of manga styles. Okay, one more realistic, the other one a little bit more cartoonish, if you will. And I can always embellish these things. Let's say if I want to make her a little bit more not so friendly, or more, I can go ahead and darken underneath the eyes. You know, to make it look a little bit older, I can go ahead and add this mark here. Okay. So there's a lot you can do. One thing I do want to show before we depart. How much time do we have?
About 20 minutes.
Okay, great. All right, just take about a few minutes. I just want to show you the great things about manga is I can easily change these expressions from this neutral face to, let's say, a more happy face to more surprised face with a little bit of change of the tweaks of the line. So, for example, right now she's a neutral manga face. Let's say if I wanted to give her a little bit more happy expression. There are some of those lines here. So let's say, for example, she's walking down the road and she meets somebody that she hasn't seen, a friend that she hasn't seen in quite some time. Okay. These curved lines, I will reverse the curves. All I have to do is reverse the curves. Yeah. and change the shape of the mouth. I don't want to make it too big because that would be like we want to save that for the chibi characters, which we'll draw next. Okay, and if you want, you can change the eyebrows to go up a little bit more. For those of you who are wondering what kind of pencil I'm using, this is a fresh charcoal stick that you can. They don't make these things anymore, but I find them something similar to them in art stores. And I can also make these markings like this to show that she's beaming with happiness. Okay? Or, if you're really, really surprised, these eyes can go small. I can draw these. Tweaks here and there, you can change the expressions of your character. Okay, so moving along. This was a chibi character. First of all, does anyone know what chibi means? Chibi means small, right? Yeah. So chibi basically is a proportion of a character where the head is considerably larger than the bottom and the rest of the body. This is yesterday's chibi character, which we did Happy, and today I promised you that we would do really, really mad, the opposite extreme. Okay. Excuse me. I really, really enjoy drawing a chibi character because they're fun, they're simple, really big, easy shapes. You don't have to constrain yourself too much about anatomy. Just have a sense of designing your own characters the way that you like them to be. And start with the head. Draw with my crosshair line. Now this time, unlike these characters, I can allow the eyes to fall on right where the crosshair line is, and I don't even have to draw the chin, the rest of the chin. Everything is self-contained within this head structure right here. And let's say I want to draw a character who's hunched over, she's really, really seething with rage. I'm going to start out with something that looks like the body is best described as an hour-shaped glass. For those of you who aren't familiar with my book, it's called Manga for Dummies. You can go ahead and I think there's a copies available at the Kensuke store. These shapes are very versatile. You can go ahead and okay. And actually, no, I'm going to make him a little bit more hunched over. Sorry. I'm making him a little bit more hunched over. Okay. It's a little bit different from this shape, but you kind of get the idea. It's almost a hourglass shape. All right, drawing the eyes. This is a popular style of drawing really, really mad eyes lately. It's like drawing a small white circle, and I'm going to draw with a series of hatch marks. I'm going to draw these little interlocking weaving patterns. This technique is really commonly used in Japanese manga. Okay, the eyebrows. Going down like that. Okay. Now, like most chibi characters, there's so many different ways of drawing your chibi character. This is just one of them. For the face, I'm going to draw this S-shaped curve, which follows a circle, like this. And noses. No nose. I'm not going to draw any nose. I said the nose because there's going to be no space for this. I mean, look, the eyes are this big, and the mouth is going to be even larger because I want to really show her really, really mad. I'm going to show these using these cross hatch marks. I'm going to show that she's red with rage. The mouth, you'll see. It's like a bow tie. And while I'm at it, I'm going to draw the teeth, which are basically fangs. So these fangs are really popular with chibi characters. It simplifies things. Okay. Okay. Hair. Unlike smooth hair, I'm going to use just jagged hair. Ears. Sorry, I'm going to use the ears. Drawing chibi ears, I like drawing this little, it's almost like a 6. The number 6 like that. That's all I really need. I want to show her really, really mad, so I'm going to go ahead. So she's really, really upset. Okay. Arms. I want to show that she's like waving her arms up and down, like that. And one of the cute ways I like describing arms is I'm going to draw this little fan shape like this. As if she's to get the general pattern of her arm motions. And I'm going to draw this series of C shape for the fists, the angry fists. Okay, and with a blunt charcoal, it helps with his blunt. I'm going ahead and draw these lines, which are properly known as speed lines, motion lines. Okay, so she's going based on this. Okay? How much time do we have? 10 minutes. Okay. Now remember she's a girl, so I want to keep a skirt, which is how I'm doing is overlapping arrows. It's almost like an open arrow, like that.
cute.
She must look, yes, she has to look cute. Okay, I'm going to draw a little bit of ribbon. Okay. And for feet, this is one, I like to call this like my Astro Boy feet, because they're very, very simple to draw. All it is basically these little crudely put table legs, and okay, I might give her little stockings. Okay. With chibi characters, you can add all these different symbols to them. For example, if she's really, really mad, I can add something that looks like this. Okay, it's the equivalent of a blood vessel bursting. You see on the temples of the head, the blood vessels are seething. She's really seething with rage. And if I want to, I can go ahead and add these little lightning bolts coming from her. Oops. How did I mess up a lightning bolt? There we go. Looks better. Okay. Let's see, what else can we do with her? I'll take the shape just a little bit. Okay. So one thing I was going to do. I can't remember. Okay. So I'm going to add these speed lines to show zooming over her face. And if she's crying, this is another one. You know, there's an expression that in my chibi characters, they get so mad that they're crying with jealousy or anger. You gotta do is, all I need to do is, I don't draw the tears. I'm going to draw these two wavy lines. Come down here. Like that. Okay, so it shows he's really, really mad. There's nothing in the world that's going her way. And, you know, all those things. And sometimes this could be too much if you wanted to, and for the purpose of this demonstration I will. A lot of artists will add horns which are basically these acorn shapes like this, and followed by little arcs. Okay. It's an ogre. Japanese, they have the ogres that are on temples in everything in Japan. It mimics that shape. Okay. So I guess that's. Do we have more time? 5 minutes. Okay. 5 minutes. What can we do in 5 minutes?
Any questions?
Oh yeah. Do you guys have any questions or anything like that? Hopefully I can answer them. Yes, you.
How did it feel publishing the manga for dummies?
It felt great.
What made you get inspired to do this, right?
That one, it's the. I think I was lucky that one. The publisher actually approached somehow. They approached me, and they said, "Well, we're trying to do a book on how to draw manga, and we'd like to have you draw and illustrate." That's how I ended that show. Yes.
I made you really cute chibi.
You made me a cute chibi. Can I take a look at afterwards? Okay. Afterwards, I'll take a look at afterwards. Any other questions? Yes. Chibi is not a vampire. Well, not maybe this one might be. Well, actually, I'll draw a chibi. The Japanese equivalent of. That's how you use. That's how they draw chibi. Anybody else? Yes. What manga inspired me the most? I think, well, Astro Boy is probably the one I like the most. Have you guys heard of Tezuka Osamu? For those of you who
I like
grew up?
Yotsuba.
Another one was, there's another one that, Rumiko Takahashi, she was really big. Yeah, Inuyasha, Brahma 1/2, it was big in the mid-90s. I really enjoyed that. Another book which I really, really like was, of course, Death Note. I think Death Note's really fantastic artwork there. The story is kind of weird, though. In some place. Anybody else? Yes.
Have you published any other books?
Yes. There's Manga for Dummies. I also published Sugar Drawing for Dummies and Drawing for Dummies. There's also another book called The 5 Dysfunctions on the Team. You children have probably never heard of it because you're not business people yet, but it's based off of a Patrick Lencioni. He did the 5 Dysfunctions of the Team. One of New York Times bestseller. So what I did with that was I made it, their publisher was looking for a business manga book. If you guys haven't heard that one before. In Japan, there's a lot more diversity in manga subject matters. In the United States, there really isn't that many. Mostly shonen manga styles. So it was a business manga, and it was published by Wiley Publishing. Yes.
Try to draw.
Sorry?
Try to draw.
Try to draw.
Try to draw. I just did. I'll show you later. Okay? Any questions?
Can you draw Naruto?
Oh my gosh. Alright, if you guys have any requests or something like that, I'll do it for you later.
Sweet.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much for coming. Have a nice day. Oh, if you guys there are the books I did. They're selling at Kinokuniya right now. I do have to run a little bit, but I'll go back there and make sure I sign a few copies over there. All right, thank you.